If you see a player peeking out, you got to make sure, like, there's 101% chance that there's another player backing him up, supporting him, and going for that refrag. Ladies and gentlemen, from the YouTube audience, welcome back to NODWIN Valorant Challenger South Asia, driven by Hyundai, and with our styling partner Philips One Blade. Today we've got the lower bracket grand finals between True Rippers and Godsreen. May the best team win.
I really hope the best team wins. Both these teams have had some phenomenal storylines in this tournament. True Rippers at one point were the underdogs, and then they took down some of the best teams in this tournament. They were the ones who eliminated Velocity, and then Godsreen. They've always been consistent. They've always been the team that can get a read on their opponents really well. But can they get a read on True Rippers, the team that's known to have some really wild executes on their attacking sides regardless of the map? Both these teams are Goliaths in their own right, and they have their own strengths. Their weaknesses, on the other hand, are up to the other team to exploit.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the fact that every single one from the side of True Rippers is having those nice smiley faces, right? You gotta love it, considering even though they lost against OG in such a dominating fashion, it's not really going to be affecting their mentality, at least by the look of their faces, right? And that's really good news. If you're a player, you should be able to have fun inside the game, no matter what the course is going to be, because your mentality always has to be improved and not let the loss affect you. Instead, learn from what you did in the past that was supposed to be a mistake, and then try and improve in the upcoming matches. And we're probably going to be see that improvement inside the grand finals too. True Rippers know this a lot too, and even Godsreen know this. In today's matchup, a single mistake will definitely be punished all the way to the ground.
Definitely it will be. I think partially the reason why True Rippers are smiling this much is because their supporters are in the arena. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you are in Delhi right now, head over to the NODWIN Gaming Instagram page and you stand a chance to win the tickets to this LAN arena. Get to witness the madness for yourself. On the other hand, Godsreen, their supporters have been quite active, but they have their own watch party going on in their boot camp in Bangalore. So, you know, not all of them are present on menu. And a bunch of people cheering for you in the arena can make a lot of difference to your morale.
Ooh, okay. So Icebox being banned out from True Rippers makes a lot of sense. Good. It's sort of their kryptonite. Moving on forward though, Godsreen is going to go ahead and pick up the map of Haven. This is what I was exactly scared about. But as I said, if you are able to defeat Godsreen on Haven and get that Haven pick secured, then Ascent should be a clean stroll for you. Because if you're going to defeat Haven, and if you're going to take it away from Godsreen, then Godsreen are pretty much going to fall on top of their faces, because Haven is sort of like their main key weapon. It is a map that they know and they're really confident that they're probably going to win on. So let's see how today's affair is going to pan out in general, because the decider is going to be on the map of Lotus.
Ooh, Lotus. That's going to be spicy. Now, both these teams have had some good moments on Lotus, so I can't exactly tell which one of them is better. Godsreen have lost against Reckoning on Lotus, which can be a red flag. But then if you take a look at True Rippers and all of their matchups, even they have had some shaky experiences. When these guys were playing against ASTER, True Rippers were able to win on Lotus, but it's just that particular team being somewhat weak on Lotus. ASTER confessed that Lotus was one of their weaker maps. So is that really going to be enough to grant them an edge over Godsreen? I guess we'll have to find out. But the fact that we're starting with Haven first is actually quite nice. Both these teams are pretty strong on Haven, so I'm assuming that this particular map will be really close. I think it's going to be 13-11 or something like that. Although I can't predict which one of these teams will pick up the 13th round and win. But I do have some concerns about Ascent. God's Reign have had some clear weaknesses on that map. And even though it's quite a simple map where your basics are really tested, where your ability to trade frag without crumbling under pressure is tested, God's Reign have lost Ascent against ASTER Army, Velocity, Reckoning, that's it. Basically, every single time they've played Ascent, they haven't really been able to win. And that is quite a poor track record. So I'm starting to worry about them a little, especially when it goes to the second map. God's Reign better win Haven, because if they do not, then Ascent looks like a big red flag, which True Rippers will take and pierce God's Reign's body with. Here you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The stakes are as high as ever. Both these teams have come very far in the tournament, but now the tournament lives are at stake once again. Both of these teams fighting in the finals of the lower bracket. One of them will go home. One of them will go to the grand final and fight Orangutan. Which one of them will it be? We will find out now.
Best of round begins, ladies and gentlemen. God's Reign on the defense and True Rippers on the attack. And already we're seeing aggression being added up out mid. Autumn welcomes the first man. Kazun's gonna fall down. Not a good news for the side of True Rippers. Even the second man's taken down way too low. You can see Argu's down to only 1 HP. One peeks out, not able to win that duel. A lot of lift shots, and this is where the opponents will start to take the advantage now. Side Dreams being able to just get that free kill in his hands.
Yeah, 2 early kills acquired for God's Reign, and the moment I say that, it's a 3rd kill. True Rippers are falling apart like flies. They've lost players everywhere, on B, A, as well as C. So where did they even go? And the 2 remaining players have been spotted. Sai is already on the backstab. He doesn't see anyone else towards the C side, so he takes that area for himself. It's as if it's got his got his name written on it, you know? He's just claiming it for himself. A Soa like that has no business pushing out this early.
It's not even that. What I'm saying is that why is True Rippers playing in defaults, and why are they going for individual duels on a pistol round? You guys should try to play grouped up. In mid, there are two people falling out in mid. There's one guy all the way in A, then there's another guy taking fight C. I don't know what exactly is going on over here from the side of True Rippers, but this is definitely not the way you want to play a pistol round.
Okay, then. No match is complete without the technical pause. At this point, it's become a ritual. A ritual that's it. Us when they're about to play the lower bracket grand finals, when their tournament lives are at stake. You know, speaking of rituals, do you have any particular rituals before you start casting or before you start playing Necro? Do you have any such things you want to do? Something you like doing?
I do, like, I grind like an hour, like I grind deathmatch for like an hour before the cast. That's what I do. So it sort of warms me up in general, you know what I'm saying? It gives me a lot of confidence when I just one tap those people in the head in deathmatch. It just gives me confidence and it makes me happy. But speaking about happy, right now it's Autumn. Already taking the fire against Kazun, and he knows the opponent don't even have the superior weaponry, so it should not be that tough to deactivate him and shut him down inside the game. And True Rippers once again started off with a man deficit, so it's not really going to matter to them a lot, considering they don't even have a lot of weapons to try and back him up. Probably the main game or the game plan has to be to try and take away some guns away from the opponents and make sure it hurts as much as possible. Not a lot of bullets in the gun of folks, but he still manages to take down another man. It's all down to Disrupt in short.
I also have to appreciate the backup that Takes is providing. He's not even on the side, but he used his paranoia through the map geometry to make it land on a shot and blind the people of True Rippers as they were trying to peek out. They know that Hoax can't use the flashes because he's a bit too close to the action. You know, the breach is supposed to be slightly far away to set his teammates up for success, but he can't flash for himself and then peek. So Tix does it for him, and that's a brilliant paranoia that he used. And if that wasn't enough, he even used the dark cover to set up a one-way. God's Reign help each other out, and now they get themselves a 2-round advantage. Bonus round now for God's Reign. True Rippers with the money and the weapons. Let's see what they can do.
So, considering they lost out on the weapon, so they've only got a sheriff in the hands of Sai. Which is completely fine. The rest of the players definitely do have the superior weaponry. On the other hand, True Rippers, they've got some better guns in the hands. A huge spread where Wimp is still looking at the C-Long side. He's all by himself. Is probably going to be the man to lurk out as well. They've got the side entry. Disruptor's going to lose out the initial duel. That's in the favor of Godsreen, and Tix is there in the back lines to try and redeem himself. They get another player down. It's a 4-on-3 scenario against the players of True Rippers. They don't even have the man advantage anymore, and considering it's a bonus round for the opponents, if they're able to secure this round in their hands, it's going to be massive.
The clock is ticking, and True Rippers are running out of time. They can feel all this pressure just tightening around their necks like a noose. God's Reign, all they have to do is hold on for a moment, and they are doing so well. It takes just a couple of spam shots to let Tix get all those kills through the smokes. And they were able to convert so quickly. That's incredible. God's Reign, it didn't even look like they were trying too hard.
The spike is diffused.
Yeah. And now they've also managed to upgrade their weapons for free. Vandals in the hand. Good news for the side of God's Reign. I don't know what exactly is going on with True Rippers. They just seem so disconnected, Crips. Don't you think so? Looking at True Rippers and how they're... I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I know it's too soon to say, but at least soon enough, at least right now in the match point, or at least today in the map, it just seems like the players are disconnected.
Let's hope that they can fix that problem. I understand that True Rippers wanted to play aggressively inside the Dark Tower, hoping to fight towards CT. And that's the normal choice, you know. Whenever a team's got the man disadvantage, they would much rather try to pick up the fights and try to roll the dice in their favor rather than just wait it out and hope that the odds will go in their favor. So I don't blame them for trying to play aggressively, but they try to do the same thing over here, and yeah, they end up offering all these 1v1s. Kaizen gets picked off right at the start. Wimp tried to venture towards the B side again, and he knew that there were two people available over there, yet he pushed his luck. He didn't even get any backup from anyone else like Techno or Disrupt, so that is a bit of a problem.
That's what I'm saying, dude. There's always no refrag over there. Look at this, too. I mean, they're towards the C-Long side just trying to hand out those haircuts. I do understand with the Marshals. But the problem is, if you do get taken down, there's no refrag potential available right there. Look at this. All the time, Godsreen are able to punish any single aim duel that's been given away. But this time, Argue, he connects both of his sheriff shots and shuts down those two players in the front. And now Autumn from the back lines trying to work his way around. But True Rippers, they should have some free upgrades of the weapons if they can retrieve them in the hand. Argue will definitely try to make his way over towards the platform. Will probably get the weapons down as well. Techno catches a bit of hurt from that aftershock. Soften up a little bit. It's a 2-on-3 scenario. Definitely pullable. If they're able to hit all the shots possible. And yes, Techno does. But he doesn't know that Autumn's still available in Garage. Argue with only 11 HP to make anything happen. It's going to be next to impossible. But he might just make it possible. True Rippers on the verge of converting this round in their hands, even though this was supposed to be a thrifty.
No way! Aryu the Demon steps up for his team. Now that's what you call a true classic clutch. He used that sheriff to get the opening frags onto the C side when all his teammates were falling like flies. Those shots, it weren't even like those were some really incredible ones. They seemed quite simple. And then in this 1v2, he was offered opportunities. Again and again, he's given these 1v1s, which he will always convert. Autumn could have easily traded out his teammate if he didn't use the Cloud Burst, but then those are just regrets that you will think about retroactively.
Revealing area.
But that round's really not going to punish Godsreen a lot, right? They've still got a lot of economy. Instead, they've also got an operator on the board. Autumn will probably try to push himself back and hold the angles down now. True Rippers, on the other hand, that round was definitely needed to try and stop the momentum Godsreen were able to build so far, and also the economy so far they were able to stack on top in their bank accounts. True Rippers, they start to stroll away from the ace right now. This is a back pedal from them.
Swarm grenade out. Killed my bot.
Alright. At least the utility on Garage and B is being challenged. Godsway noted the same hit is incoming. They activate the nanostorms, hoping to delay them for just a little bit, but Tix gets stunned, and now he's in danger. At least the paranoia keeps True Rippers at bay. It keeps them away from the other side, but another paranoia leaves the world blind. An eye for an eye is a good response, but when everyone gets scanned, this will be trouble. Hoax, the demon, once again channeling all his energy into his enemies' bodies and beaming them apart. God's Reign recover very easily.
That was such a chaos on the site. True Rippers didn't even find a little bit of sigh of relief for themselves to go for that plant. Not a lot of time being borrowed right there. But God's Reign, you got to give it up to them, man. The rotation was so quick from them. Within seconds, you saw the entire team on the side. Hoax was just beaming players down in the front. Left, right, and center. Perfectly done. The crossfires, or overall the refragging that was being done by God's Reign, it was nicely being done. And speaking about the pressure on the both teams, for God's Reign, definitely it's now going to start a subside, but for True Rippers, it's now going to start to build up.
Another technical pause, ladies and gentlemen. Last time we discussed rituals. At this point, we discuss what's wrong with True Rippers. They were so adamant on going towards the seaside. Get this, their stubbornness has been one of their stronger points. That one round that Aryu was able to recover was because he was stubborn enough to continue challenging God's Reign, even though they had sent a clear message that seaside is not available, it's closed for business. But Aryu broke the doors open, kicked it down, and got that round for himself. The question is, how many more of these rounds can he replicate? It's not just him. Everyone else on the team also needs to step up. It's been 5 rounds already, and Bimp and Disrupt haven't had any kills so far. If all these players don't step up soon enough, then Aryu won't be able to handle all this heat by himself. He needs to share the burden.
And that's so uncharacteristic of Disrupt too, to be on that frag row, right? We have never seen him on that, on these many amount of kills. Pretty much not even able to find any frags right there. So yeah, God's Reign. As I said, for them, the pressure is going to start to subside. But for True Rippers, it's going to start to build up even more. I mean, speaking of this technical pause, it should definitely help True Rippers a little bit, considering it might just be the momentum breaker for God's Reign, but you just gotta speak realistically here. They've got the better weaponry for the upcoming round. True Rippers, they don't even have the bias to try and back him up. So for God's Reign, they will definitely have an upper hand in the match.
I mean, at this point, your definition of upper hand will also change, right? In normal circumstances, having the better scoreline means having the upper hand. But when you lose a round just after winning one, and you haven't been able to change any other rounds together, maybe your success looks like a little bit of money in the bank, a little bit of ability to afford all your weapons. Momentum is a strong thing in Valorant, ladies and gentlemen, and technical pauses definitely disrupt those momentum-causing factors.
Yeah.
Speaking of disrupt, it is quite uncharacteristic of him to not have any frags yet. His utility has been great so far, but the only person with the gun in this round on the side of True Rippers is going to be Aryu. He's going to have the Hero Vandal, and unfortunately, it doesn't really help them at all.
Oh, the flash! But it's a little too late. Aryu peeks out before the flash was even popped. And that's why Autumn gets away with a free kill. Once again, True Rippers, they're just giving out these duels, even though they know the opponents have a better weaponry. Not really able to get the trades forward, and now we've got Wimp just lurking around and B. Try and make something possible, trying to catch a man slip by, but that's not going to be the case. Tix plays that perfectly. Patience are going to be on the board, and once again, a kill could have been found from him. Disrupt was able to get away with one. That's going to be his first kill on the board. Still got a decent amount of utilities, I guess. He's got an aftershock, so he can definitely try to force away Autumn from this spot, but he might as well try to get as many kills as possible before he's dead.
I don't think he can even get kills unless shots are missed like that. Gives him a lifeline, lets him get away to the other side, but even then, Tix is gonna be around to put him down. Yeah, this C-long area has been a big problem for True Rippers, not just because they're getting shut down every time they try to hit C, But even in the pistol round, when True Rippers tried to go towards Garage at the B side, Sai was able to backstab them from C long and get a triple kill. So regardless of whether True Rippers are attacking C long or not, this area is a strong point for God's Reign, and True Rippers need to find a solution for it.
Timeout being called. True Rippers, they should have some strategy cooking up. I mean, as I said, the map of Haven, God's Reign, they're just phenomenal. It's really going to be a difficult task to try and take him down. But still, if True Rippers, there's a reason why they've probably left this map open, so they should be well prepared as well. But so far, we're not really seeing that preparation to the finest, because the first round that they've gotten so far, it was all by the heroics of Argue, where he got a 4K.
Yeah, and it's not just the heroics that are keeping God's Reign alive, you know? Sometimes True Rippers just get a bit too stubborn. And if memory serves me right, there were a couple of instances in the past where I appreciated this stubbornness. It really showed resilience. But now all I see is them running into a brick wall. Unless you've got a battering ram, that's a bad idea.
Revealing it.
It's time. A quick take.
Take flight.
But still holding their horses. They've already gotten the A-long control. They're probably going to try to make their way towards the short as well, but there's an operator just waiting for them to peek out. True Rippers, they should have some sort of knowing that there might be an op in the front lines. And that's why they're definitely not just peeking out yet. Flashes aren't going to be on the board. A good flash. That should try and nullify the man in the front, at least for now. But no! Kazan shuts him down. Good kill by Kazan. At least was able to get the refrag on the board. The traits are going to be there from their side. But God's Reign, now they've found themselves in a man deficit. A 3-on-4 scenario.
They've got the Rolling Thunder available in case they both try to go for this lockdown plant. Kazan offers them the fight. And instantly, the Rolling Thunder is committed. The loss of Kazan is not going to be taken well by True Rippers, and they are going to bombard God's Reign with all the utility possible to keep the site in their arms, to keep it within their grasp. Hopes will try to make things easier. As soon as he gets that kill, he has the Rolling Thunder of his own. He lets it go, but Ryu plays them like a fiddle.
Nicely done by Aryu, staying in that angle where no one expected him to and just waited for them to funnel out of the smoke. He's feeling himself today. You've got to have a man who's feeling himself, especially when your team's not doing that great.
Yeah,
even
but
Kazan's not really able to activate himself.
Yeah, but that's the thing. How much can they rely on Aryu? It's great that he's playing well. It's great that he's in good form, but most of the times it's Wimp and Kazan doing the heavy lifting. Aryu and Disrupt just playing for backup, and Techno is the one who's providing support. You can't have Aryu do all the heavy lifting and the rest of them not being able to contribute.
Oh, good dash back. And the classic 101 strategy of True Rippers. Aftershock to try and counter the man in the back, but already a lot of distraction is being caused up, and that's why so much space is being taken away by them. The shorty's not going to connect. Unfortunate for Autumn. At least was able to chip away some damage onto Disrupt, but not enough to take the man down. There's lockdown available in the hands of a boar, but they're probably not going to try to utilize it. God's Reign with only 2 players. There's an entire army of True Rippers in the front. Things should be taken a bit safe. God's Reign, they have enough amount of rounds to give away if they do want, but for now, that A site is proven out to be quite a bit of problem. These extenuating circumstances are really catching God's Reign off guard.
This was an extraordinary circumstance. Keep in mind that Ryu, the way he is able to commit that ultimate towards heaven, it is incredible because it takes a lot of bravery to stick that. And then he smoked himself off on heaven and then jumped down into hell, hoping to regroup with his teammates and overwhelm anybody of God's Reign who's still holding over there. The AWP in the hands of Autumn could have been a massive deterrent, but he was just simply not given any space. The moment he tried to get that position on A-long, he was stunned up by the fault line, forced to dash back, and then even revealed by the recon dot. Why are our own casters dancing?
I got no clue. I have no clue. They got the screen time, though. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they always get the screen time. Okay, now that I have a technical pause, I've always wanted to crack this joke. This is the question
What?
for the audience. You guys need to vote on who gets the most screen time. Is it A, us, the casters? Is it B, the coaches during every tactical timeout? Is it C, the players in between every round? Or is it option D, Sway in the trailers? It's a good question, am I right? She's not even in the tournament and she gets more screen time than any of us.
Damn. All right. Well, I mean, for now, this technical timeout is extending for a decent amount of time. We don't exactly know what's going on. These technical timeouts have really been there from yesterday, huh? Or from day before yesterday. Maybe in this playoffs in general, the technical timeouts have been there over and over again. So hopefully we're going to be able to get rid of those soon enough. But speaking about the game and speaking about the ultimates, for now, Tix has got his hands on the From the Shadows. Side Dreams have got the Hunter's Furies available, and even the lockdowns there in the hands of Wabor. We talked about this. If God's Reign do want to go for a retake scenario on the A side, it's definitely doable considering the amount of utilities and the ultimates they have available.
Yeah, and the strengths or weaknesses are being separated clearly like oil and water. True Rippers have been suffering on the C side, God's Reign have been suffering on A. The evidence is right here, it's clear as day. So now that you have this information, what do you do about it? How do the players adapt to this one? So far, True Rippers have tried to only flirt with the idea of going towards the B side, and that is in the early rounds where Wimp tries to maybe take a pick, and sometimes Disrupt will try to help him out, but most of the times it's Wimp making a move alone. So far, True Rippers haven't really actually tried to plant on the B side. Maybe we'll get to see it in one of these rounds. So those options haven't still been exercised by True Rippers. When it comes to God's Reign though, the only real aggression that we saw from them was in the pistol round when Sai pushed out of C long and then tried to backstab them. Other than that, we haven't really seen any reckless aggression or anything ruthless from God's Reign so far.
Yeah.
They've been rotating quite well. They've been able to defend the sites quite well by virtue of having their players reach before True Rippers can reach the site. But we haven't really seen God's Reign try to actively take away map control from True Rippers. The only other form of aggression, other than the one that I pointed out, is probably Autumn pushing towards sewers. And that's it.
That's what, exactly. And that's what I mentioned too before the game even started, right? And I said this, God's Reign, they're going to try to play this game really disciplined because that's what we saw yesterday too. They were really trying to play as disciplined as possible. We weren't really seeing a lot of those overextending moments, but yeah, we're seeing those aggressive angles being taken by the duelist. But as I said, when you're going to be seeing the player take that aggressive angle, you got to know that there's always going to be someone backing him up or at least try to get that trade possible. And that's exactly what's happening so far as well inside this game. We're not really seeing them overextending at all. Instead, God's Reign, they're sticking to their prime spots. They're not really over rotating. They're not really overextending at all. But still, so far, as I said, the A side has been a huge problem for them.
Yeah, God's Reign have been playing by the book. And most of the times that's a good thing, but when you're against a team like True Rippers who love to rip that book apart and throw it out of the window, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna avoid the chaos or embrace it?
Standing ahead.
All right. Recon Dart sent in. No one inside garage. They're completely just playing off of the alarm bot. Contacts was given away, and we're also seeing that lockdown being utilized. Hunter's Fury utilized to try and take care of that lockdown. It will be destroyed. So nicely done from God's Reign. That entire presence inside garage has at least been nullified or taken away for now. True Rippers, now they'll need to try and reroute and backpedal.
Okay, Autumn's in trouble. Get away. The recon dot as well as the fault line both tagging him. I'm surprised he doesn't die right there. And yet he wants to go for the peak again. True Rippers have to be absolutely mental to go for this challenge once more. It's just a moment. And as soon as that moment arrives, Autumn will take it for himself. Shining once again. Kaizen taken down. The star player for True Rippers hasn't really shown up today. He's yet to get his glimmer on.
Stealing sight.
30 seconds left.
Paranoia is pretty much going to be sent in to try and blind anyone who's playing the back lines, and they make their way on the side. Will also get the spike plant down. Argue playing a little bit pushed up, but look at Disrupt. This man has managed to find 3 kills already in his hands. Impressive stuff. We were talking about how Disrupt was not able to really activate himself, and finally now he's found himself on that page where he's able to find those kills and a good flow for his team in general. Godsreen, now they're going to start to fall back as they've realized that the site's given away. There's no way we're going to be able to get the retake happen. In the upcoming round, they definitely have to play on that lockdown. As I said, the A side now has been proven out to be a huge problem for Godsreen because they're never able to resist the site control.
Exactly right, and Godsrain have tried nearly everything. They've had Autumn play here with the op. They've had their players fall back every now and then, hoping to regroup for a retake. So even when they stay adamantly on the site, they fail. Even when they fall back, they fail. The only option that they haven't exercised yet is super aggressive gameplay, which Autumn tried now, but he was pushed back by the utility. So having exercised all 3 options, if you still cannot find an advantage, what are you gonna do?
What is he doing?
I think that was the pose that Antidote also likes to use. I think it's probably a homage to Ronaldo. I'm not a football fan, so yeah, I think it's a Ronaldo celebration, or maybe like a pose that he likes to pull off every now and then. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I don't watch all that much football. My life is just neck deep in Valorant right now, so yeah.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Ronaldo. Why not? I'm a huge fan of Ronaldo. Sue. Okay, I don't know why I did that, but yeah.
It's okay. I don't know why Shivans did that either. I don't know why Phoenix did that either. So
let's focus on the game, man. We're all out here just fanboying on Ronaldo while there's a game going on in front of us between Godsreen and True Rippers. Things are getting way too serious, bro. I mean, now the scoreline's starting to get a little bit equalized as True Rippers have finally managed to get the grip back on this map. We talked about the map of Haven being so good from Godsreen, but you also got to consider this thing, that Haven's been around for forever, so any other team or every single team is going to be well familiar with this map. So you always got to be prepared with some moments, with some astonishing moments especially.
It's not just the map that they're familiar with, but also the patterns, right? I mean, if we can see the patterns that True Rippers or we can see in Godsrain or weak on A, then I'm pretty sure that they would have guessed it too. The question is, what do you do about it? This time, Godsrain do push, but it's slightly different. It's not just Autumn pushing out alone. Tix accompanies him over there. So A lobby control has been taken on the back of a dark cover. Another smoke has been used on the C side, but this one was put down by RU, which allows them to sneak up towards the mouth of C long. But instead of doing that, they fired a couple of bullets, they make some noise, and now they're heading back towards the A lobby area where Tix and Autumn lie in wait.
Yeah. I mean, somewhere down line, Godsreen, they know that True Rippers are once again going to try to hit the A side no matter what, but I like the adjustment from Godsreen. No one's going to expect him over here, and he will be getting a free kill in his hands. We'll make that too. A really good fault line as well. Going to be able to chip away a lot of damage onto Techno. Perfectly done from Godsreen. And as I said, you got to be prepared with those astonishing moments. And as soon as I say that, Godsreen bring one on the board. They realized if they're going to be giving away the short control and the A-long control, there's a high chance they're not going to be able to resist the side control. Instead, just resist them right off the bat. Go even more aggressive. Fat-fingered his dash key. And unfortunately, also moved up forward, but it's completely fine. Yeah, as long as he's able to stay alive. And even Godsreen, now they're going to get themselves some free weapon upgrades if they do win this round.
Wimp has been trying to go for this beam lurk quite often, but only now has he been able to find the room to let the spike plan happen. The stun comes through. Wimp is concussed, but he still peeks out. That was quite brave. Able to get the kill onto Autumn, but now it leaves RU in a 1v4. All odds against him. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. His position given away. Sai already tapping the spike, hoping to bait him out. But now that his position's revealed, Godsrain are not willing to fight him. Sai continues to stick the spike, and the side of line is not available. Oh, this is just too bad for him. He walked into that crossfire.
Interesting. I like the fact that the crowd's having the time of their life, right? While the crowd's having the time of their life, these two teams are suffering, going through hell. to try and force themselves in the champions. They're going through terror and fear to find that sweet relief.
And while they go shoulder to shoulder against each other, it's only up to innovation that can make a difference. This time the push from Autumn was finally successful. After struggling for so long to find picks early on, he's got the success. And it wasn't just because the drone did not check him, it was also because the fault line and the paranoia helped him out to survive. Oh my god, this rolling thunder, it hits them in the face like a truck, and now Kaizen's running over them like a four-wheeler.
Oh my god, rolling thunder perfectly utilized to get the side control, and once again the A side has proven out to be a huge kryptonite for God's Reign. Not able to stop the prowl on the side at all, just straight up aggressing forward. True Rippers able to get the side control in the hand. So God's Reign, now they know that the big crack in the wall in their defense has to be that A site. Something needs to be found to try and counter that. Autumn, on the other hand, he was getting spotted by the alarm bots. Wimp knows there's someone in the flank lines, and Autumn's actually going to go for a save. He's got a Vandal, and his teammate's got an Operator in the hand, so it makes a lot of sense that they're trying to go for the save over here, too. They're probably going to opt out for the 7-5 half.
Yeah, God's Reign finally are able to find an ability to at least fight back, but it still doesn't really help them.
Last round before the switch.
I guess they can discount this round because True Rippers only found success because of that rolling thunder. However, A-side has been a problem for them with or without the rolling thunder, so you gotta stop making excuses and find a way to channel all that aggression in correctly. Inching closer and closer, True Rippers have just one more round left in this half. It's either going to be God's Reign walking away with a 2-round deficit, or both these teams tied dead even.
Get out of my
Autumn
way.
once again able to afford the op, but this time he doesn't have all that much backup on a shot. His teammates are already leaving him and going towards the B side, and appropriately so,
Here.
because True Rippers have turned up the pace.
Careful.
They've only been lurking around on the B side so far, but this is the first time they've hit it. But they don't want to go for the plant just yet. They actually want to take control of C-Long as well, and this might just have been a little overcooked. Finally takes the plate off the stove, takes these enemies and buries them in the ground.
Oh,
And it's up to Aryu once again. He's been the hero for his team all throughout, but can he find success now? No, says Autumn. And even Wimp can't do much.
yeah, the A side is the only way to go for them. If they go anywhere else, and they're getting countered quite easily. Oh, damn. Nice one. Good one. But yeah, B side or any other side, as soon as they're trying to go towards that, it's getting really tough for True Rippers. But at least good news for them that now we're going to have the second half. That means the switches will be coming into play as well. If you do take a look at this round, it's understandable that they try to go for the link control as well, because they did not want it to get flushed upon, or because they did not want it to get just pinned inside the site all by themselves. Instead, they wanted to go for the controls of the links as well, so just to make sure that they're not going to get pinned and peppered all across the board. So makes sense, but it just didn't work out. So far, the A side is the charm for them, and they should keep on hitting the A side. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Welcome back into the second half of this matchup. The first map, I mean, at least the first half of the first map has been really close, ladies and gentlemen. And now we're going to move up forward in the second half, where we know True Rippers will be on the defending side, and God's Reign now will be on the attack. Let's find out how God's Reign have got their attacking side prepared. Definitely, they should have some sort of research done against True Rippers.
Autumn has been having a great day. 15 kills for only 5. That's 3 KD. Very, very cool. I don't think we've seen that high of a KD number in this tournament throughout. The C side is vacant, and God's Reign will occupy it. They are now not just the tenants, but the partial owners of it, at least for the next 40 seconds until the spike goes down. True Rippers, on the other hand, have taken a massive risk by stacking up the A site, and now that they're pushing out of A lobby, 4 of them are going to come in from the back flank.
Disrupt. Waiting for someone to push up, and that they will actually push up. They've got a lot of map control already established in their hands. Look at God's Reign. This plan is quite interesting too. They knew there might be some players working up from the back lines in the flank, and they are True Rippers. They make sure that the opponents are not going to fall down. Paranoid in the hands of Tick, but still not really utilizing it, and True Rippers perfectly done. They get the side control quite nicely in the hand. It wasn't all that brawl in the C side, but in the end, True Rippers, they come out on top. Nicely done. That flank especially, it just gave them so much information. God's Reign, on the other hand, I like the extension from them to try and go for a little bit more map control, go for the link control, also the garage control, but True Rippers were able to resist that and fight against it perfectly.
This is such a massive role reversal. True Rippers moving fearlessly from the back lines, using garage and C-Long to take control of this area again. Now that they're on the defensive side, it somehow works for them really well. But take a look at these positions that they're attacking from. On the attacking side in the previous half, True Rippers never found success this way. But they somehow do it on the defensive side. It's so funny how the storyline has been switched up like that.
Yeah. Sai could have almost been taken down in that scenario. Every single player from the side of God's Reign, they've got their hands on the Sheriff, and this can only mean one thing. They have intentions of winning this round. And at the same time, if they're not able to win, at least do a ton of damage. But if nothing is being found from this round, then definitely God's Reign will be a little unhappy with that. But so far, we haven't really seen a lot of critical moves be made from them, as now they're probably going to try to make it inside the B site. Alarm bot is spotted, the position's known, and as soon as the smoke fades away, they'll probably take care of the alarm bot as well. They've got the B side control in the hand. The spike should go down soon enough.
Yeah, but the area that the spike can be planted on has been covered by nanoswarms. God's Reign try to take control of A link instead, but Kaizen's there to punish. As they try to fall back, the flash will catch them all, and another frag lands in the lap of Kaizen. Oaks finally puts his killing spree to an end, but now that he's trapped towards the back halls, he will be stuffed out by Disrupt. It's all in the arms of Autumn, and he's just got way too much weight to carry.
Yeah. Too many players in the front to deal with, and even he won't be shut down. Nicely done. Crowd as well is feeling quite alive, because they now know that True Rippers is having the momentum in the hands and the table, and the script is now flipped against God's Reign. But let's see, inside this round, how much True Rippers is really able to pull off, considering, as I said, they went for Sheriffs in the previous round, so they're not going to have enough money to go for full armors. Instead, they go for the light ones.
That is a problem, you know. I know that Fnatic like to use this half-shield strategy, especially when their opponents have Phantoms and Vandals, but when your opponents have Spectres, those lack of full armor, it's actually going to create quite a lot of problems. Yeah. I mean, if your opponent has a Vandal and you go for a half-shield, it's completely fine, you know, because you can still get headshot and not spend it.
Destroyed.
But at this range, the Spectres can be deadly. The alarm bot smoked out. True Rippers try to flank them, and God's Reign have no idea because the alarm bot was never triggered. Even the turret doesn't spot them. They're in quite a lot of danger, but at least Vibor detects the danger before it's here. And as they try to focus on the backside, Vimp will try to capitalize. He finds the opening.
Shadows.
Nicely done from True Rippers. As soon as the distraction was there from the flank, even the guy in the short peeked out in the name of Wimp, and Wimp got himself a free kill. It's a 3-on-3 scenario. They know every single player's on the short, and all they need to know, or all they need to do now, is just take care of that area. And that's what they're doing. Every player being on the flank, RU being spotted out as well. True Rippers, they start to funnel out a little bit. They've found themselves a decent amount of ground so far on the site. God's Reign, the resistance will be met so far, and yes, they do. They find two of their own. One more to go in the name of Disrupt, and Disrupt not able to capitalize on that opportunity that was given to him. Let's see if he's going to be able to seal the deal or not. Does find one, but he's chipped down to way too low of HP. 5 HP left over, and too many utilities to try and dodge. But even he's got a decent amount of them left over, but not going to use it.
surprised how the fault line didn't hit him in the first place, but that's fine, I guess, because he's gonna get taken down regardless. Quite a good adjustment over here. True Rippers, I have to appreciate their proactivity. As long as they can keep going for these flanks again and again, they will keep making God's Reign uncomfortable. And that's the thing about God's Reign, because they can get such a good read on what you are up to. If you let them get that comfort zone, they will be able to put you under. So you have to keep them on their toes. Keep them moving.
Scanning ahead.
Scan sent in. True Rippers once again playing the A area really aggressive. The God's Reign, they've got some different intentions lined up. And you can instantly see the paranoia being pulled out as well from RU. First contact taken, and Autumn finds the kill. Perfectly done. Nanoswarm triggered, but a little too late. The dash already came through on the site. They're able to flood on the site. The spike will go down as well, so that means the post plant is going to be played. True Rippers, so far, they have been able to at least show some sort of dominance, even on the retaking site, but the previous round was failed, so you can't say God's Reign. They've sort of found a little bit of chink on how to play against him, but the man gets unchecked, and now the alarm bot's gonna spot him. God's Reign, they know exactly there's a man in the close lines. Kaizen taken down a bit too low, and Side Dreams will seal the deal.
The flashes from Hoax are keeping True Rippers so disjointed. They're trying to take Lock's control. Disrupt will try to get the elevation, but they use the aftershock, and that's when he peaks. And that's going to result in instant death.
Oh my god.
Somehow Autumn runs out of bullets, but Sai's there to back him up.
Dude, I was so scared.
Yeah, that was so scary, right? It kind of makes you go, no, 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 no. And then somehow Sai's just there to help his teammates out. Amazing. Now, here's the thing.
That's what we're talking about.
Here's the thing about God's Reign. It's really funny how you actually spotted God's Reign first, and he just assumed that it's going to be a default push because God's Reign was showing presence on all sides of the map. And then the next time RU peeks out, he sees 3 people at once. He was only expecting one person. He was only expecting either a lurker or maybe someone sent in to gather information. He didn't expect the whole damn team over there. And that's how you make a contact play, ladies and gentlemen. Classic contact play 101. True Rippers this time, I don't know about contact, but they definitely want some flak. Pushing out this deep into mid. Are God's Reign ready for this one? They've got the KJU till lined up. The turret position has been changed to account for anyone coming through from mid as well as grass. But once again, God's Reign are creeping up towards the C site. They will leave Autumn over there and then fall back.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, God's Reign, they're really playing pushed up. They're pushing themselves up against the players, and God's Reign, they realize that probably Seaside has to be the way to go once again, because in mid, there was some heavy presence detected, and they do manage to stroll once again on the C site. There's going to be one player in the back lines in the name of Vapor. All the time, this is the man who's trying to hold the flanks down. And once again, he will be the same as well. Blade Storm capitalized. That's going to be a huge thing to be taken down. Vapor has done his job perfectly. And now it's going to be all down to the rest of the players with only sheriffs in the hand. Doing anything at this point in time will definitely be quite tough, because you can take a look at the positions of God's Reign players. They've positioned themselves for success. And once again, Wimp will peek out and will meet his makers.
Round looking bleak for True Rippers. They had a great start in this half, but now God's Reign is running away with the lead. They will reach double digits inevitably. And the only silver lining that True Rippers have is that RU manages to get away with Vandal. He's often the guy who survives, often the guy who makes the play. But how much longer can you rely on him? In the second half, even RU hasn't been able to find all that much success. He was amazing in the first half. He was partially the reason why this game is as close as it was.
Tactical timeout. Let's see what True Rippers have got to say, because they know, just like God's Reign, the A side was a little bit of a weak spot for them. For True Rippers, the C side has been proven out to be a bit of weak spot. So how can they try to get the grip on the C side once again? This is probably where they're going to try to discuss a lot of stuff. And Crips, the funny part is that God's Reign, they're not even doing anything out of the book. They're just straight up pushing from C long, and they're having one man look at the back. Like, this is so basic.
It seems basic to us because we have all this information, but True Rippers have access to quite a lot of information, so let's see how they can now utilize it. At least God's Reign have kept it fresh on their attacking side. They've been able to change up their setups quite often. It's very polarizing how True Rippers were exploiting the A site on their attacking half, and now God's Reign are attacking C again and again, and they're able to just use it like their bread and butter. But that's partially because True Rippers have been letting go of C quite easily. They often stack up Garage and B instead, rather than defending C. They've been opting to retake this site quite often, and that's partially why God's Reign have been able to find a lot of success. But now that I mention it, True Rippers change up their setup. Started towards Garage, Nanoswarm towards C long, and Wimp himself marking the angle. Double door has been a massive problem. He somehow dodges the Rolling Thunder, uses the momentum to strafe into safety, and another Rolling Thunder is used. This will keep God's Reign from Garage away, but the spike actually is towards C long. Tix has been taken off, so no more smokes available. God's Reign will have to walk in blind.
Yeah. They'll have to go for these aim duels, and that's what they're trying to do. God's Reign trying to utilize the rest of the leftover abilities. Hunter's Fury utilized too to try and nullify the lockdown. But unfortunately, the overextension is not really going to be able to catch anyone off guard. Sidedreams uses his Hunter's Fury and finds one kill instead. Pokes on the site, definitely dealing with a lot of pressure. Good recon dart. Reveals and also keeps True Rippers players on the bay, at least for now. And Kazun able to find one. The operator's going to strike in. Another man falls down once again. True Rippers, that technical timeout definitely did help them out quite a bit, but already God's Reign, they have found themselves on a little bit of advantage spot as they've got the double digit on the board.
Yeah, they do have the double digit, but True Rippers, they had to bait out quite a lot of utility from God's Reign to actually extract value out of this round. The fact that True Rippers can get the round is good enough, but also because they forced God's Reign to use up their lockdown and their Hunter's Fury makes it so much more easier for Wimp in this round. Now Wimp can plant his own lockdown without having to worry about size Hunter's Fury at all.
We saw 4 ults being used that previous round, so
yeah,
a lot of commitments from both the sides, to be honest. But at least Wimp has got his lockdown available in the hand, so for God's Reign, the main reason over here, or the main thing for them to do has to be to bait out Wimp's lockdown whatsoever. But if they're not able to bait it out, then in the post plants, it's going to be a little tough for them to hold on.
Early pick for Autumn, and he has been hitting his shots quite often. He is a consistent man, but this time, he's on a whole new level. Nowhere near him is anyone on the server. Just the difference in stats, the difference in kills that he has is immense.
Get out of my way!
A little foot cue given away.
Yeah.
The sound might just make True Rippers aware of the fact that the A side is being contested, but still God's Reign are taking it quite slowly. There's one man who can make a difference, and that's going to be RU once again. Look at how deep he is towards C. He should be able to hear God's Reign come towards Grass as well as C long if they try to fall back, but nope. God's Reign are hitting the A side once again,
30 seconds left.
and True Rippers opt out. They decide to go for the retake instead.
As soon as they heard that foot cue, both of those players started to fall back and probably play for the retake was the call being made. And there's no one on the flank so far, so at least for God's Reign, that's going to be a huge sigh of relief. Everyone's going to be in the front lines. True Rippers, all the 4 players stacking up right next to each other, and it has to be a quick burst on the side as soon as some sort of cues are given away. Autumn in the close quarters, whiffs the Blade Storm. The right click is not going to connect, but God's Reign, they still manage to get a lot of kills, especially Sai. He's able to hold on, and Tix from the back will seal the deal. He'll take care of business.
God's Reign are able to extend ahead. They were on double digits for quite a long time, but now it seems like they're finally gathering some steam. At one point, True Rippers had stolen their momentum away. And True Rippers were looking sharp up until now. This retake was very, very close. It only came down to Tix, who peaked a little later. This round probably wouldn't have been this close if he peaked earlier on, but hey, that's how it is. And yet God's Reign are able to find the economic advantage once again. True Rippers have some money left, so in case they do lose this round, it's not all over, but God's Reign will be on map point, so they have to contest against that. And this will be a difficult fact to admit. Whatever weapons had been dropped have now been recovered by Disrupt. He has to step up. But Hoax is just running around with a shorty. Disrupt sprays them both down. Nice transfer. His position detected. He has to stay alive inside the smoke somehow. He's being pressured from both long as well as behind the site. And he's able to get so much more value. Autumn, on the other hand, whatever hope that Disrupt had ignited, Autumn snuffs it out.
Match point.
Godsreen able to get that match point in the hand for themselves. 12 rounds on the board. Nicely done, Godsreen. I mean, we had a little bit of clue that Heaven has to be Godsreen's map, but still, True Rippers, they're really giving a tough fight for them. Disrupt, though, he tried to go heroic. He did manage to get both those players. That trigger discipline play from his side was nicely done. But unfortunately, the conversion wasn't exactly on the point. Disrupt was found in a deadlock, later on executed too.
Very early paranoia to keep God's Reign away. And now, the Omen ult is committed. Dix doesn't spot anyone with it, but he was just hoping to use it as a very expensive recon dart to gather information. I don't think he spotted both the players over there, but God's Reign are not going to gamble. They go towards the B side instead. And instead of playing for C-Long or, instead of playing for A-Link, he continues staying on the site. And it still works out, even though they are hit with the Hunter's Fury. I'm sorry, not the Hunter's Fury, the Rolling Thunder.
The boar in the close quarters will go for the peak, a little bit too desperate. Man overcooks, but still the spike's not planted. They were able to bait out so many utilities, so many ultimates. They've managed to bait out the Rolling Thunder as well, but Kazan goes berserk on the A site. Two already found, looking for the third victim, but Hoax catches him on the investigation. Utilizes the concuss. Disrupt is the only man left over on the site. Lockdown initiated too, because somewhere down line they know that the A site's going to be taken away soon enough. Hoax turns around, slaps him. Last man left over, pulls out the shorty, but a little too late.
Disrupt bringing the friction, making sure that God's Reign face heavy resistance as they try to enter the A side again. And he was the one who repelled them away from the B side in the first place. God's Reign had good control of B. They were almost about to plant that spike. But then came the Rolling Thunder. Threw them off their feet, dislodged their positions. And then God's Reign made the call to rotate away because they thought that they are about to get crunched. Keep in mind that God's Reign are not the kind of team that when they go B, they're not the kind of team that will try to take A-Link or C-Link control unlike True Rippers do. So being stationed on the site itself would have been a death sentence for them, especially when everyone gets stunned. And even on the rotates, they're fine. This time, Tix opens things up. Good pick onto Audio. That's the star player of True Rippers taken down. The other star player, Kazan, he's usually very consistent, but today he's having an off day. At least in Haven, he hasn't been able to show us his true potential. Can he bring it online once again before it's too late?
Wimp gets rid of the turret in mid. So now there's no turret watching the flank anymore.
Off your feet!
Rolling Thunder being used from the opponents this time. Godsreen, they will get the stroll on the site. So far, as I said, the Kryptonite for True Rippers is the C site. It's sort of their weak link, and that's where Godsreen now will try to put their finger on. And they also get the side control down. For Autumn in the front lines, he's got a lot of players to deal with. Also dealing with a lot of backfire upon himself. Utilities are definitely there from the side of True Rippers, but to get this retake in the hand, it's going to be a huge challenge. Paranoia initiated. Disrupt and his teammate will at least be suppressed for now. But as soon as they try to flood on the site, they will be taken down easily. A flawless round from Godsreen with a 4K to end it all from Tix.
The captain steps up in the end, being a pillar of strength towards the mouth of this site. He holds ahead of the default boxes, dodging the fault line and keeping everybody at bay. Not just at bay, he buries them 6 feet under. And as soon as he gets flash, he throws a paranoia off his own. An eye for an eye leaves the world blind, but it takes Godsreen ahead.
Godsreen, they're so happy to win that map too. It was their map pick. What is written over here? TR crowd. Ooh. Okay. I think so. They're appreciating the TR crowd, right?
I guess. I mean, that was not a good attempt at banter. That was not a good attempt at slander either. So, I guess
I don't know.
you better not focus on all those kind of things and focus on Ascent now, because that's what's up next.
Exactly. It's going to be quite a tough luck over here for Godsrean because True Rippers, they have been showing some patterns of success in the past. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
I know my destiny.
Anyone's spirits. We've seen an amazing game of Haven so far. God's Reign were able to come out on top, and now we're going to be heading to Ascent. The stakes are super high. One of these teams will end their journey in the Valorant Challenger South Asia. The other one will go to the grand finale to fight against Orangutan for the title of the Split 1 winners.
But this is just the second map, and also the map of Ascent. Another match that we're expecting to be really close. Let's see if that's going to happen or not. YouTube audience, welcome back to the second map of Ascent inside the series, as we are on the Agent Select, and we do take a look at that. We're not really seeing a lot of changes over here. Disrupt is going to go for that KO. Techno on the Sova. So, interesting stuff over here, and pretty much going to be the similar composition even from the side of opponents. It's a mirror matchup.
Yeah, it's almost always going to be a mirror matchup. Same with Haven, same with Ascent. These maps have had some really stale metas for the last few weeks. At least in some of the international circuits, we see a little bit of agent shakeups every now and then. But in VCSA, this has been the staple pick for a lot of the teams. Even on Icebox, we saw a little bit of shakeups, which is unexpected, right? Because you don't expect a lot of agent compositions to change on a map like Icebox, but yet they do. So the fact that both these teams have better lineups, it doesn't really surprise me. The question is, how are they going to differentiate in their playstyle? Kazin has a very different way of approaching this map. Autumn, a very safer approach as compared to Kazin. So both these Jets have some really different philosophies, and their teams have different philosophies about setting them up too.
Yeah. True Ripper's going for quite an interesting approach. Right off the bat, they're probably going to try to amp up the heat and mid. Autumn's already pushed up quite deep, and he's going to be able to catch Techno off guard, and he does! What a quick shot! Techno being put to sleep. Didn't even see the man in the front, and Autumn was able to capitalize and seal the deal onto him in split second. They've managed to stroll on the site so far, but there's a big crossfire setup from them. Tix is still behind the box. He was not really able to provide that cover fire, but instead he wants to go for that heroic play. Finds one, gets the second one as well. Redeems himself in that situation. True Rippers, they know there's two players on the site. Tix is able to find another one, and now things are starting to fall apart for True Rippers on this pistol round. Disrupt, the only man left alive, and he will be taken down as well.
This is the whole new Autumn. I haven't seen him push this aggressively at all in Ascent. We often see him trying to make these plays towards B main, but usually he has got the op and he just peeks out towards that black orb region and then falls back. But look at this! Oh my god, I feel bad for Techno. He was shot down dirty. But while I speak about the shots that Autumn was hitting, you also have to appreciate that True Rippers tried something really bold and different this time. Instead of smoking the defender spawn side of B, they leave it open and they try to attack there instead. They take that control, hoping to cut off the rotations of God's Reign first, and then take the B side for themselves. But cutting off the rotations was never really a problem for God's Reign. They were just able to hold it like an anchor so well. Even Tix doubled up with that frenzy.
Yeah. Kazin quite low. Hoax, even he's spammed through the wall, so even he's found himself quite softened up. Kazin and his teammates now are going to start to move up towards mid. As True Rippers, they're quite close to the tree area. Side Dream still just shoulder peeking that angle, letting the shots flood in onto himself. Eventually he's able to catch a bit of hurt on the opponents. Shock Darts utilized his wall to try and chip him away a little bit more. This shouldn't be that tough of a round for God's Reign. Opponents aren't in eco. God's Reign should be able to flow away with kills quite easily. And Autumn's, he's feeling himself with the aim. He's so calm, cool, collected, and crisp. And Autumn will get the final frag on the board. A flawless round for God's Reign. As expected, now the upcoming round's going to be a bonus round. They've got every single weapon on the board that they bought on the second round. So that means this bonus round is going to be quite a clean one if executed properly. And if they're able to win this bonus round as well, then yeah, it's going to be a cherry on top of the cake, because they will also have a lot of economy to back them up. True Rippers The true test begins right here. Vandals and Phantoms on the board for the opponents. Godsreen, they try to be a little aggressive on the main. And that's why True Rippers too, they're going to try to play some off angles and try to get the main control slowly and steadily.
Godsrain have changed their setup. Instead of having Autumn play towards B main, he's now positioned towards Heaven. He's got one of the bigger guns, the Bulldog. Wimp narrowly avoids the shock dart. Only a tickle of damage taken. But you know he's waiting for someone to push out. Well, he won't find someone pushing out, but he will find the drone. He's just hoping it doesn't get spammed. Luckily, he doesn't have to worry about any Odins online because Godsrain are still on their bonus. So True Rippers are hoping to just take long-range engagements. Hoping that Godsrain don't cover the distance where these Spectres can turn deadly.
Yeah. Disrupt ready with a flash. That's a quick pop flash on the site, but unfortunately, flashes his own teammate. Vabor standing inside the fire eventually will be dealt with. Kazin with a quick dash towards the switch. Sidedream still in the backlines. We've seen him pull off some miraculous plays with that spot, but this time he will be suppressed quite easily. Hoax to go. Closing up from the defender side. Wim spots him out. Will deal with him quite easily as well. Autumn so far has been looking quite crispy. Let's see if he's going to be able to put something on the board. This bonus round, they're definitely not going to be able to win it, but even if they're able to get a couple of guns off guard or a couple of guns off their hands, this can mean out to be quite big. But no, even that's denied.
Takes to stay alive long enough to have both his smokes recharge. That just tells you how coolly and calmly he's been playing. But all that calmness is not going to help him in a heated situation like this. 1v5 is nearly impossible, but hey, at least you can do some economic damage, right? These Vandals are far more expensive than the Bulldog he's got. And True Rippers get a flawless round. Well, that's great. They need to have more of these. True Rippers don't just need to win these rounds, but they also need to do it in a very stoic fashion where they keep their weapons online. That's the only way they can start building up their economy. You saw the economic graph of the previous map. You saw how stable God's Reign were. They basically plateaued out on max money at one point. But True Rippers kept having to go through that vicious cycle of ecoing, then buying, and then ecoing and buying again. You can't afford to get trapped in that.
Okay. Disrupt. Oh, we could have been able to see that interesting KO lineup. All right. Interesting. Let's see where it's exactly going to land.
Somewhere on market or mid, I think. Oh, it's a little shallow, but okay.
Oh, yeah. It did land towards pizza. Deep pizza area. So, was able to get the scan off. Now we know if there's someone posted up or not. But unfortunate for True Rippers, Autumn was a little bit in the back. So, Autumn did not get scanned through. So, they had no clue. Autumn's over there. Manages to find a tag onto Argue. Argue is down to only 35 HP. True Rippers, they will need to give up this mid control. Because the players are quite vulnerable. And they know there's an operator posted up. If they do want to push up a little bit more, they will need to try and deal with the op. Which can be next to impossible to get rid of with only Vandals in the hand.
Yeah, but now True Rippers have accomplished what they wanted. They take mid control, but instead of taking it by force, they just wanted to leave Kazin over there. And now Kazin will activate himself at an opportune moment, hoping to catch someone in the middle of a rotate. Uh-oh. He's been detected. They're attempting to bring him back, and it's actually allowed to happen. Oh no, the moment the peek out hooks sprays them both down. A moment of happiness followed by an age of grim.
I like the read from God's Reign though, you gotta appreciate it. Even though they were showing presence on mid, they still knew that it's going to be an E-hit, and you saw that operator instantly towards Haven. And God's Reign, they had such a quick rotation in general. Such a perfectly played round. And this is what I was about to say as well to True Rippers crowd. That don't be too excited. It was just a bonus round for God's Reign.
Oh, it was just a bonus round for God's Reign, but you have to appreciate how True Rippers try to take that mid control. They take it by force, have multiple members, push inside, get the op on Autumn, forced to fall back, and then they leave Kazin towards pizza. Kazin was supposed to be hoping to catch somebody in the middle of a rotate, but what can Kazin possibly accomplish when his teammates who are heading towards a shot have already died and fallen? Even though Disrupt was revived momentarily, Hoax was able to spray them both down later on. This time the KJ setup once again has been changed. God's Reign have been changing this KJ setup so often Report is nearly impossible to predict. This time he's got all his usual set up to the A. Meanwhile, Autumn has already gotten a kill from a shot onto mid.
Bomb grenade out.
Kaizen dashes in alone, but his teammates aren't anywhere close to him. They're now just starting to peek at the smoke. The
Spike
flash
down
allows him
A.
to get at least one frag, but now finally True Rippers have been able to overwhelm them and take the site for themselves. Blood hasn't gone down yet.
Yeah, it's still a 3-on-3, so nothing can be said just yet. A good suppression, so he knows there's 2 players towards heaven now. And even Sai is going to try to stack him up with the rest of his teammates. Not a huge fan of the position that Kaizen's trying to play off of. He might just get caught off guard. Could have. He got one, instantly fell back, so that's a good decision. Not really being too greedy in that situation. Autumn trying to spot out the player in the front, but perfectly played by Kaizen. He's trying to keep himself anonymous for as long as possible. Eventually, Sai will be able to seal the deal onto him. It's a one-on-one scenario, and Sai wins it out. Godsreen. Perfect retake from them.
Is Shivansh secretly a God's Reign fanboy? Because I haven't seen him this happy before.
He's like a Godsreen cheerleader.
I thought that was Krat.
Last player standing.
So Krat and Phoenix both like two
enemy
peas of the same
remaining.
pod, huh?
Yeah, I guess. They're a big Godsreen fan, I guess. Yeah.
Great.
But they should give Shivansh one of those thingies, right? Where you can, like, those cheer girls have in their hands.
Pom-poms?
I don't know what is it called. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, those big cheering sticks with the little
out of my
twirly
way.
things on them. Yeah, they're called pom-poms.
Yeah. Yeah,
think he
even
would
glow
look good
sticks
on
would be
them.
completely fine.
You know what to give to my next?
Oh, Kaizen, he missed his opportunity, and that's not something you're known to see from a man like Kaizen. He whiffed every single knife on that player in the front.
Yeah, not a single tick
Uncharacteristic of that
damage
man. Yeah. That's me with the jet knife.
Man, Necro, you've been confessing a lot of things today. Someone slipped something into your food?
Nah, man, I haven't eaten anything. That's unfortunate. So
That's
far.
probably why you've been able to confess these things without any shame. Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, dude. But look at this. True Rippers attempting the same mid-take they did in round number 3. Will it be successful this time? I mean, the door has been broken down, kicked open. The lockdown is probably going to force them back, but
Spike down.
God's
B.
Reign are still able to kill them all before the lockdown gets popped. And while one player does get detained,
30
it's
seconds
completely
left.
okay because Sai...
Oh.
okay.
Oh, what?
I thought Sai wasn't in danger because his teammates were able to cover him, but it seems like
Wait.
True Rippers raced their way to the side before God's Reign could arrive, so now it's back to a 3v3. And the moment I say it, Hoke swings it open.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, he's legged up, and yeah, Godsreen. They're going to play off of each other perfectly later on, but still, that could have really escalated out. And they still managed to close the grip later on inside the round, but yeah, that could have escalated quickly. Godsreen, though, they're really now starting to stack up these rounds on top of each other, and for True Rippers, they're not able to find that sweet spot, especially Kaizen missing out on that opportunity to shut down the player in the front. That could have been a huge initial pick if dealt with, but didn't really work out. Let's see what they've got cooked up inside this attack so far. Every single player is just outside A, and they're going to walk and take the main control too. So probably it's going to be a quick flood on the A site. Yep.
Oh. This time the was prepared. They can't push him like this. He's got the nanoswarms towards Generator, and if they can dodge the nanoswarms, they will also have to try dodging Sai's ultimate, and it's nearly impossible. He's already killed Techno. The spike plant will go down, but True Rippers have taken so much damage just on the basis of utility. God's Reign have softened up their targets.
Last player standing.
This guy, Autumn, with the shorty is just creating havoc on the site. Was able to shut down one player, just straight up jumped on the site, shorty to the face, take him down, and Autumn's still able to stay alive somehow. He jumped into fire,
Team Ace.
and he became the fire. Does that make sense?
He became the fire, the embodiment of the flame, packing all the heat into one condensed plasma beam with which he beams down True Rippers. Yes, of course it makes sense. Come on. But you know what's not
I mean, if you would have
making
been playing Phoenix, that would have been perfect, though.
To represent the Phoenix, we have Shivansh. His nickname is the Phoenix, and he's quite happy today for some reason. Anyway, I have to appreciate Vibhor over here. This man's a menace, dude. Every single time he changes his Killjoy setup, I haven't seen him repeat this setup even once, and we've seen 7 rounds already. How many different variations does he have? Sometimes he's got the alarm bot towards mid. Sometimes, I say, because I haven't seen that in this match so far. What Godsrain have been doing instead is occasionally they shut down the mid-market door, which acts like a natural alarm bot on its own. If anyone wants to crunch mid plus B, they will have to break that door down anyway. And then even on the ace side, even though his utility is present over there, sometimes the turret position will be different, sometimes the nano swarms will be different, sometimes he places them at the mouth of A main, sometimes he places them towards the default planting spot. This time he had them towards generator. It's so versatile. You never see the same setup from Vibhor again. And look at it now, this time again, it's different. The turret position remains unchanged, but the nano swarms have moved up by 2 inches. One of them towards the plant spot, one of them to cover the 3 entrance. And you have to be aware about this, Odin. A reverse spam! Okay then. You don't see that often.
Well, that's one way to deal with that. I mean, Godsrain, we know that Odin so far was sort of like the win condition for this team, but this time, the Odin gets countered quite well, so True Rippers, they definitely have done their research.
That too with the Guardian of all
this
weapons.
That too. I mean, Guardian's quite a strong weapon, and it's able to penetrate through walls quite well, so it makes sense that for that Guardian option to be chosen, but a good flash, and the Opera will need to fall back, at least for now. Respect the opponents, let him have the control as well, and Autumn in the close range still holding with the op. Wimp not really able to be shut down, but unfortunately for the side of Godsrain, every single player from the side of True Rippers is now exactly on the site. Flashes available from Disrupt, utilizes that. Lockdown initiated too, and now True Rippers, they're in a huge deadlock. They need to deal with this lockdown as quick as possible, and Godsrain, they're not letting the funnel out of the sight. They're being suffocated to death, and Godsrain, perfectly done.
A 3v5 pulled off. At one point, I thought that this will be another round that True Rippers get for themselves, finally, because not only did they get control of the site, but they were also able to spam all the defenders down very early on, so that was quite great. But then, as soon as the lockdown was popped, True Rippers had a timer ticking for themselves. They had to be the ones who walk out of the site through those narrow funneled corridors and walk into the crosshairs of Godsrain. This would have been the other way around. With a 5v3 like that, if Godsrain tried to just get into the site and try to overwhelm them with numbers, try to overwhelm them with the firepower, they would have failed. But they flipped the switch, they turned the tide, and now all of a sudden, the pressure's on True Rippers.
Shutting them down.
7-1, man. Godsrain. Look at what just happened, Crips. We thought that True Rippers, they have a really valid chance or a valid shot at the map of Ascent, but this has proven out to be a completely one-sided affair so far.
Exactly, dude. Godsrain haven't been successful even once on Ascent so far. But this just looks like a whole different team. It doesn't look like Godsrain at all.
I mean, man, I would say that the first map was way closer than this, right? The first map was way better than this for True Rippers.
Closer, yeah.
Yeah, even though it was the opponent's pick, and this time it's the pick of Godsrain, and True Rippers, they're starting to crumble down. I don't exactly know what's been going wrong with them, especially since yesterday's matchup, but definitely something is going on with this team. Paranoia utilized her client gaining control in the hand case and will be able to do so. Shuts down the man in the front too, so a lot of map control is already gained. There's still an operator on the site that needs to be nullified. Peeks out, goes for the shorty shot, not really able to find that kill so far. Hoax chipped down way too low, and now Godsrain, they will need to play this one out safe and
30
sound.
seconds left. One enemy
Still
remaining.
trying to make a difference, still trying to create some impact towards
Spike
Tree.
planted.
That was necessary. He can't afford to let Godsrain get back into a comfortable 3v3. He has to get the advantage by playing proactively and nullifying these numbers. Tix has all that he needs to make this run successful. One smoke on top of generator, hoping to cover the turret. This will make sure the True Rippers can't play on the turret contact. They will then have to wait for the sound cue, which he does give away. And now Kaizen's prepared. Finally, True Rippers show up with another round. A lifeline extended to them.
As we all said, finally, they're able to get another round on the board. But let's see how much of that round is able to replicate in the future times. Was that a momentum breaker or not? We'll be able to find that out in the future lines. But I like this aggression being amped up from their side, taking that tree control, letting Kaizen extend all the way deep on the site. And this is exactly what ASTER Army does too on the map was said. If you remember, Wink goes for that short control, that tree control that extends all the way towards window, kills the man who is playing towards window, and then moves up towards Haven. This is the exact same copy pasta.
Yeah, this lockdown, it's instantly dealt
They
with.
really didn't think this through.
Yeah. But yeah, even though the lockdown HP has been increased now, when the fragment burns for that long, it will deal with it. And there's just so much counter-util from God's Reign already. I mean, True Rippers haven't even made a move, but yet God's Reign are doing everything they can to keep them away. First a flash and now a smoke. I mean, they're just boiling down this time. A whole minute is left on the clock, and True Rippers have lost 40 seconds, but yet they haven't seen anything. Fragment forces the players on those stairs away, but God, I would have thought him still have an angle. The timing is just too good, and now Vipor is just spraying them down. Vimp is able to get one, but Vipor still left undealt with. Vimp is able to do so much. A massive triple for this man gives True Rippers a lifeline. Can they capitalize on it? Can they convert this?
They probably can. Wimp playing the lane area. Good flash and peek. Tix was blinded out. Tix wasn't really able to be taken down just like that. Autumn and Tix, these two imports are now going to try to play off of each other. They should have some phenomenal communication, that's for sure. As soon as the first man peeks out, Autumn gets the tag. Way too low. Wimp had a 4K for himself. Could have gotten the ace as well, but Tix clutches it out. The IGL steps up on the occasion, and God's Reign once again. The fire's ignited, and the smiles are back on their faces.
I mean, they always had the smiles on their faces, but I just feel so bad for Wimp. He stepped up like a hero this time. But Tix is more than happy to be the villain, more than happy to silence the crowd in the arena. Oh, and this is just heartbreaking. A heroic performance from this man. His teammates were dying towards lane 1, but he, by himself, was able to go all the way towards the defending spawn entrance, get quite a lot of kills from there, and then not just turn around and vacate the site, but also help with the spike plant. What does Tix do? He just dismantles all those efforts. And he doesn't even make it look like he's having a hard time while doing so.
Three players towards mid. And then they've got Disrupt to watch in the backlines. Waiting for the flank from the A main. He's soon enough. We'll be able to get that. What was that shot? Autumn. Autumn able to just squeeze that one man under the rug. And Kaizen being taken down. That's a pure jet diff right there. Kaizen, on the other hand, wasn't really able to find a lot of value with his ultimate himself. Tix able to find another kill on the backlines. That late lurk, that late flank really just providing value. Already they've got a two-man's lead. And now the rest of the three players are going to start to move up from the short area. We'll probably try to get the tree control in the hand. And they will send another on the site. Look at this trigger discipline. Sai eats them both alive.
It's painful to watch this. True Rippers, I mean, at one point, God's Reign were doing really well to counter them. They were making True Rippers throw away their advantages. But now, these errors just seem unforced.
I mean, this late flag, they really did not expect that. They got caught off guard by that, and then even a man like Tix is able to hit shots like that. Then what are you supposed to do? He just got a little glimmer of his opponent.
Yeah.
And he was still able to shut him down.
Get out of my way.
That's just unfortunate.
Well, at least the trades go 4v4, so True Rippers had an advantage for a millisecond, and the moment I was about to say that line, Autumn picks them off yet again. Drone destroyed immediately. This recon dot will make sure that anyone who tries to peer through will get shot through the smoke itself. Oh no, he gets detected. Oregon gets spammed. He somehow survives. I'm very surprised at that.
Oh my god. How are they even alive at this area? God's Reign. These two play off of each other so nicely. Sai and Autumn. This duo indeed is proven out to be quite deadly. They pretty much try to resist the entire short control. They were able to take down one man who was trying to traverse on the site, but it's a 2-on-4 scenario. Next to impossible to try and pull off. Disrupt doesn't even have a lot of HP, but he still manages to connect that headshot. He will get the second one as well. True Rippers, they're flipping the table. Disrupt, he's got a 4K in his hands. Unfortunately, misses the knife as well. And now he realizes Hoax is in the back lines, but Hoax, he wins that duel. Disrupt almost could have kept the lifeline going in that round, but it seems like 10-2 half is now inevitable.
Man, it's not just about autumn, man. This is the reigning summer. It's burning True Rippers down to a crisp. And what can you possibly do when the score is 10-2? I would have probably made a 9-3 joke, you know, I don't like doing that. But when God's Reign are stomping True Rippers like this, what can True Rippers even possibly come back with? What do they have left in the arsenal?
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
I mean, Disrupt, valiant effort, but his team just crumbled down. You can't even say a lot there. The trades has started happening right off the bat, but in the favor of God's Reign once again. And this is what I've been trying to tell you guys. God's Reign, whenever you see someone giving out a free pick to you, just know that there's always going to be someone there to refrag it. It's not going to be like OG where that single man Aziz is going to push out there and will try to take it down. And I think so True Rippers is really getting caught off guard with those refrags. Before now, we're going to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hit for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Hit for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
It's like God's Reign, they were just waiting for this exact moment. They were waiting for this moment of Ascend to strike, and that's when they would probably reveal every single thing they have on the board. These guys are not losing out a lot of duels. They are making quite minimal mistakes. So God's Reign for them, it's pretty much like a date with Destiny.
Bomb grenade out.
Scanning ahead.
But what can Destiny even do when it comes to True Rippers? How can you change that? How can you change what's written in stone? Maybe by writing it on a headstone and burying your opponents like this?
Last player standing.
Oh no, this is just too painful to watch, bro. Necro,
Yeah, this is a tough pill to swallow. This is a really tough pill to swallow. You said what Destiny can do for them? F5. Someone bring up the vote.
No. Okay, we don't. Okay, that's too far, bro. That's too far.
I'm just messing around, guys. I'm just messing around. This is just a friendly banner. But True Rippers, man, we all were hyping up this map so much. Ascent, we thought that it has to be in the hands of True Rippers, but boy.
Yeah, and I was expecting Pearl to be on. Sorry, not Pearl. The third map to be online, and I was just so surprised by all this.
Yeah,
imagine not winning a single game of Ascent in the tournament so far, and then stomping True Rippers like they're a piece of paper that you can just rip open with your fingers.
True Rippers holding the close quarters down. Stinger will definitely strike. They went for a force buy over here. Hoping quite a lot from this force buy. But the Molotov and Nano Swarms are exactly on the point. From the smoke, the spam will be there too. And Babor, his utility utilization once again on the point, able to shut down those players. Site control taken in the hand. True Rippers, they're really starting to lose out these rounds now. And this is the only round that is supposed to be a huge glimmer of hope. If True Rippers lose this, the opponents will have a map point for them.
And historically, True Rippers have been quite successful in converting these second rounds for themselves. Even against stronger opponents like Velocity, they were really good on second rounds. But this is very uncharacteristic of them. True Rippers seem like a fraction of what they were against Velocity. And God's Reign, they are demons unchained. They've climbed up from hell and are now wreaking havoc on the mortal plane.
Bro, you know what, Crips? But I'm a believer. I believe in True Ripper's supremacy. I think so. We're going to see a comeback here. I've got my Copian tanks filled up to the maximum, to the brim.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, no. No. Okay, this is just too much for me to handle right now. But,
Do you think
okay,
this lead?
jokes apart though, Crips, right? You really gotta wonder. I mean, since yesterday, what exactly is going on with True Rippers? Because they're not even close to the potential that we saw in the past with them, from them. Like, they're capable of so much more. They're capable of so much more doing better. But they're just not able to perform to the fullest extent.
Poor Kaizen, he was set up for success so well. The Paranoia hit almost everybody from RU. And then even disrupt through a flash over the walls to help Kaizen at least dash in, if not dash in, then get a kill or two. But even though God's Reign were mostly blinded, they just spam away. And when there's 4 Spectres spraying in your direction, Kaizen's bound to get shot by at least one of them.
Here.
God's Reign. A huge change in the pace from this time, but they've got the players positioned quite deep. So still the control is there. Now they'll probably try to burst in with utilities, or maybe it's just going to be a quick dry peek, but there's 3 players at the same time peeking out to you. What are you even supposed to do? God's Reign, another quick stroll on the A site. And True Rippers not able to do anything, not able to resist the control at all. And True Rippers, they've only got one last man in the name of Wimp. What is he supposed to do? All the 5 players stacked up against him, and he will be dealt with by the opponent Hoax. Perfection personified by God's Reign on a sense, and they defeat True Rippers, which was supposed to be True Rippers' strong map, but God's Reign, they defeat them nicely.
Suspend your wits and disbelief. God's Reign do have some magic in the air after all. They are your second finalists, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for this unit of 5 as they will take on Orangutan tomorrow in the grand finals of BCSA Split 1. True Rippers were a worthy opponent. They have entertained us all throughout the tournament, and they have improved way beyond what they were supposed to be from once we saw them first. In between their first match and this one, True Rippers showed us heights of what improvements can look like, but in their last few moments in the tournament, they fell flat.
Yeah. Completely cold. And if you remember, I was rooting for this team since group stage. I always had a lot of vision for this team in general. I used to think that this team is definitely one of those teams that definitely has a chance to make it to the grand finals. They did make it to the playoffs, showcased a lot of potential, but unfortunately in their last 2 matchups, they slipped out. And not just slipped out, they slipped out by a massive margin. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to push to a short break. We'll be right back.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only family, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. We're known for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only family, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. We're known for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track,